When you're trading, what you're doing is you're taking your risk management as a system, as a set of standard practices, and you're placing it on top of the randomness of the markets. And what you're doing is saying, okay, I know that if I follow these rules of my risk management, I have an edge that if I keep playing this game, it's going to produce, I'm going to extract more capital out of the markets than I give back. Ultimately, though, what happens is when you're working with that randomness, we often believe that, I've got this indicator, I've got these really cool things, and, it's going to give me an edge and it's going to show me high probability. And what you ultimately understand is that a valid setup is an organization happening within randomness that may or may not play out. You don't know. And you've built a hypothesis around your work about, okay, this one looks like it's a go, it's a valid setup from my rules. But then I have a friend that teaches, and what he does is he says, Randy, once we get into a trade, we have 4 3-minute windows that decide whether or not we're going to stay in that trade. He says most of the time, it's the second window that will get us out of the trade, because we don't want to be in a trade no matter how much we want that trade to work. The truth is that once we see that trade not fitting our hypothesis, we want out of the trade at a small loss. Now, this guy that I'm talking about pulls $10,000, $12,000 a day out of the markets. He's good. And yet what you're looking at is that what he's built, and certainly he likes to win. And I might add is I actually have a video of this guy taking his keyboard and hurling it into one of his screens. So this guy could have matched up to the guys you were talking about, blowing up things and things like that. But ultimately, he had to tame that anger, become patient, and basically become, but he could not. He used to use anger as a way of controlling outcome. When you get angry, it's an accelerant, and what happens, you feel, whether or not it's true or not, that you can control outcome, you can make things happen. And what he discovered is no, he couldn't. And he realized that he had to back out of that, and out of that work, instead of becoming angry, he became an incredibly good loser. He did not stay in bad trades. He did not feed bad trades with good money. And at first, there was a part of him that wanted to save that trade, but he came to recognize and learn how to manage that impulse, that that's just simply not the way to win in trading.
I believe that every individual has taken a path of having a low level of competency at something to becoming an expert. Okay, and that process and those characteristics, they may be something that's in alignment with some of your natural skills, or it may not be, right? Because some people choose a path where they have an interest in something, but they may not be naturally skilled at implementing or engaging in a process to become, call it, highly proficient in that area. Whereas some people move down a path where they are highly gifted, naturally gifted, highly skilled, and they also have an interest in that path. Usually people engage in trading because they have a strong level of interest in it. Now, every individual possesses their own natural gifts. And so ideally, what you want to accomplish as a trader is not try to take something that somebody told you in a chat room and force it into your brain and try to apply it. You want to engage in a process that ultimately merges your natural, unique skill set, the unique way in which your brain works to that of market behavior. So you want to engage in a process that really brings those two together, because that is where you're going to be in a position of optimizing the unique workings of your brain and how you think, and that of market structure. Okay, so this way you're getting both. But it's got to be a process. It's got to be a process. So like what I do with traders is we will learn a multitude of very specific price behaviors, and then we will set them to task to exploring those price behaviors. And it has to be a process where when you engage in understanding the price behavior, you are emotionally, your unique brain is emotionally and uniquely engaged with the price behavior. So because the idea is to build a relationship with that price behavior, which is ultimately market structure, right? And what it is that you extract from that experience is because of the unique way that your brain works. So you're slowly becoming acquainted with the market and building that relationship with the market. And if you do this methodically and with a very, well-designed process, then once you've internalized these aspects of price behavior and market structure, no one can take it away from you.
Sometimes your heart is just beating very fast. Sometimes that's from excitement. Sometimes that's because you are afraid. You are in a dangerous occasion. So your feeling gonna decide whether I should feel excited, I should feel very happy now, or whether I should feel fearful and take another action. And the emotions, like it's programmed in our DNA based on our evolution that happened to us. And it is there just to protect us. We need to act in certain times, especially when we are endangered. However, in trading, it should be totally different, because when we are in trading, your life is not at danger. There is no threatening about, you are not threatened. You are not gonna die if you're gonna lose this trade. You're not gonna die if you're gonna miss this trade. I believe we still perceive the two messages the same, and this is exactly what emotional intelligence is all about, is having this space between, okay, like I feel fear now, and it's okay. I feel fear because I missed this trade. I feel fear because I have two losing trades, or I have a drawdown, or having this, rather than just reacting immediately and just acting in impulsive action, or taking impulsive trades or emotional trades, or just fight back to the market. You need to sit down and relax and see, okay, like what should I do next? But you will not be able to say what should I do next without pausing for a moment and realizing what is happening to you right now is absolutely fine. It's something that's happening to everyone. And the difference between people who take action and take reaction is being prepared for that, and being mentally and emotionally prepared for that, rather than just, okay. And I'll give you an example, like when someone is taking a trade. Most of the time, when, like I'm talking this from my experience, when we all started trading, we are only thinking about the target. Okay, this is the reward. This is 3R. But we are not focusing on the risk. When you become aware that, okay, I am mentally prepared that this trade might go wrong, and when it goes wrong, I'm gonna lose 1R, and my stop loss is there, and I'm gonna exit, and I'm prepared for that. This starts to work well, but then I realized another thing. When you have too many trades you need to be prepared to knowing all your risk. So I found the emotions and the risk are totally, like, they should be in the same place. You should put them together. You should understand that you need to expand your mental capacity by being prepared for that, by rehearsing that, okay, like now I have 3 opening trades, my total risk is that amount of money, and I am mentally prepared to this amount of money. And if you are not prepared to lose this amount of money, you have to stop. You shouldn't take one more trade. You should stop. What are you doing? You shouldn't trade anything at all.
Absolutely set a big goal. Having a big goal is key, because if you just have a small goal, either going to be uninspiring, or you're going to hit it too easy, and as you get closer to it, you'll back off the accelerator a little bit, and you'll kind of just be in mediocre land for the rest of your life. Having a big goal is great. The problem that I see most people trying to hit big goals is they get this procrastination okay? And the procrastination comes from one of two reasons. Most people are in the, like 80, 90% of the people have procrastination because what the goal they've set is just not important to them. They're just basing a goal based on what they see other people or someone they're looking up to has got this goal and they feel like they should have that goal. But actually, they end up beating themselves up because what they're telling themselves they should be doing, they don't actually want to do. Does that make sense? Like there's a lot of people looking to get into trading because it looks glamorous, but actually they don't really want to be a trader. They just want the result. They don't actually want to, they don't like the markets or spreadsheets or testing. They just want the, they want the life. A lot of people go around in circles telling themselves, I want to be a trader, I want to be a trader. 3, 4, 5 years, 6 years down the line, they're still doing that and they haven't made any progress. And you see very clearly that it's because it's not important. Stop beating yourself up. Just go and do something else. So that's why most people can't hit goals. The other bucket is overwhelm. So they have the big goal, but then they don't, because it's so big, they don't know how to even get there. And there's a great saying, the best way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time. And that means that you want to chunk down that big goal into tiny, tiny pieces, as many tiny pieces as you can, because it serves two purposes. One, by chunking it down into tiny little bite-sized pieces, it will identify any little tasks that you're subconsciously trying to avoid, right? Which is causing overwhelm. So there might be one, it might be just having a conversation with someone or ringing the accountant or setting up it might be one technical thing that you're subconsciously trying to avoid that you've associated with that big goal. And because you haven't broken it down, you won't do any of it. You'll just go, oh yeah, I'll put it off, because you don't want to do that one little thing. So you break it down, you identify those little things and you can prioritize those, or you can get someone else to do that one little thing, or you could just easily overcome. The second thing it does is it makes you see every tiny little step. So it reduces overwhelm. You just start ticking these little things off and you inevitably get to the goal. You just start, you put in your calendar a 3-hour block on a Monday or whatever, and you go, in that 3-hour block, I'm just going to tick off as many of these things as possible. And, Monday after Monday, eventually you're going to get there. And that's it.